Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. It's Wednesday, October 14th, coming to you live from our studio in Seoul. I'm Kim Mo-kyun. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. South Korea reports 84 new COVID-19 cases Wednesday, falling back to double digits. Meanwhile, the situation is getting worse in Western countries, with the UK seeing more than 100 virus deaths in 24 hours. The International Monetary Fund has projected the global GDP to contract 4.4% this year, up 0.8 percentage points from June. As for South Korea, the finance group expects a contraction of 1.9%. And longtime heir apparent of Hyundai Motor Group Chung Eui-sun has officially been promoted as the group's new chairman Wednesday. We begin with the coronavirus situation here in the nation. South Korea reported 84 new COVID-19 cases on Wednesday. Although additional daily infections dropped back to the double digits, concerns remain as there are new cluster infections, including around 50 cases at a nursing home in the southeastern city of Busan. Of the new cases, 53 were locally transmitted and 31 were from overseas. The total caseload now stands at over 24,800. 4 more people died, with the country's death toll rising to 438. With Europe seeing a massive resurgence in COVID-19 cases, countries are implementing stricter quarantine measures to try and stem the virus. This also comes as the UK saw more than 100 virus deaths in the past 24 hours alone. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
Europe is quickly becoming the new hotbed of COVID-19, as the continent is now reporting more daily infections than the US, Brazil, or India. Among the European countries that are seeing the most cases, the UK reported over 17,000 in the past 24 hours alone, including 143 deaths, the first time the death toll has surpassed 100 on a single day in 4 months. It marks a huge jump from Monday, when 50 COVID-19 related deaths were reported. In Italy, the Prime Minister signed off on the latest set of emergency measures aimed at containing the resurgence. The new decree includes a ban on all parties, both indoors and outdoors, and early closing for restaurants. The measures are valid for 30 days until November 13th, when related ministers will again decide if measures should be extended. The rules are in addition to the recent requirement for masks to be worn in public places, both indoors and outdoors, at all times, which was passed separately last week. The country's Higher Health Institute reported last week that 77% of recent infections were family-to-family transmissions, with many linked to events such as baptisms and weddings. According to EU officials and diplomats, EU countries are set to adopt new travel guidelines. They're intended to make travel restrictions, such as quarantine and testing measures, smoother and more predictable within the bloc. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Cristiano Ronaldo has tested positive for COVID-19, making him the latest in a string of world-class footballers who have contracted the virus. According to the Portuguese Football Federation on Tuesday, the 35-year-old Juventus forward is doing well and is in isolation. He will miss his country's next Nations League match against Sweden on Wednesday, as well as Juventus' upcoming matches. His infection comes as he played for Portugal against France on Sunday and against Spain last week. The federation said that his Portuguese teammates returned a negative test on Tuesday morning, local time. The world's top-ranked male golfer Dustin Johnson has also tested positive. The PGA Tour says he will withdraw from the CJ Cup at Shadow Creek set for this week. South Korea's central bank has kept its benchmark interest rate unchanged at a record low of 0.5%. The decision made during the policy meeting on Wednesday likely comes as the bank maintained its expansionary policy to offset economic uncertainties due to COVID-19. But despite the pandemic, further cuts might be seen counterproductive amid rising household debt and property prices. The Bank of Korea cut its key interest rate to 0.75% in March and lowered it once more in May to 0.5%. We'll have more details about this in our upcoming newscast. The International Monetary Fund has revised up its global GDP forecast from June, but it continues to warn that many economies will have a tough time returning to pre-COVID-19 levels of growth. Our Chung Eui-sun with the details.
In its latest World Economic Outlook release for this year, the IMF projects a 4.4% contraction, up 0.8 percentage points from June. As for South Korea, the finance group expects a contraction of 1.9%, a slight improvement from June's 2.1% contraction. While signs of recovery in outbound shipment and the fiscal policies rolled out by the government were some positive factors, the resurgence of COVID-19 in the country's greater capital area had a negative impact on the country's economy. Nonetheless, South Korea came in third and second place among the list of advanced economies and among OECD member states, respectively. Backed by improved GDP numbers during the second quarter in the U.S. and Europe, the IMF has also upgraded the overall economic outlook for 39 advanced economies from a contraction of 8.1% to a 5.8% contraction. On the other hand, it has downgraded the economic forecast for emerging markets and developing economies, with India's GDP expected to fall by more than 10%. The IMF also warned that with renewed upticks in COVID-19 infections leading to renewed shutdowns, many economies face difficulties in returning to pre-pandemic levels. Along with this warning, the international body also downgraded its outlook for 2021, forecasting a 5.2% increase in global output, down from 5.4% in its previous report. Chung Eui-sun, Arirang News.
Chung Eui-sun, longtime heir apparent of Hyundai Motor Group, has become the group's next chairman. At a board meeting on Wednesday morning, he was named head of the nation's second-largest conglomerate. He now officially succeeds his father, Chung Mong-gu, who has held the post for the last 20 years. Chung Eui-sun's promotion comes just over 2 years after he was named the group's executive vice chairman in September 2018. The U.S. has reaffirmed its commitment to extended nuclear deterrence for the defense of the Korean peninsula while highlighting the 70-year anniversary of the South Korea-U.S. alliance that it views as a linchpin in Northeast Asia. The comments came during a video conference Tuesday between the allies' military chiefs as part of this year's military committee meeting. They also stressed the importance of their combined defense posture to maintain their fight-tonight combat readiness amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The two sides also acknowledged the importance of multilateral partnerships to contribute to regional peace and security. With the U.S. presidential election just 3 weeks away, the COVID-19 pandemic has sparked a massive frenzy to vote early. According to the U.S. Elections Project, more than 10.6 million voters had cast their ballot either in person or via mail as of Tuesday. That's more than 7 times the number who had voted early at the same point 4 years ago. With the frenzy, California is in a dispute with the Republican Party over unofficial ballot drop boxes set up in at least 3 of its counties. California on Monday ordered the GOP to remove all the boxes by Thursday, but the Republicans are refusing, saying state law doesn't ban them doing what they're doing. China and Russia have won seats at the United Nations Human Rights Council despite strong objections from critics over their alleged human rights abuses. The 193-member UN General Assembly on Tuesday elected 15 countries to the 47-member council. The countries elected include China, Russia, and Cuba, but Saudi Arabia failed to make the cut. The UN Watch labeled the day as a, quote, black day for human rights and said the move was like letting a gang of arsonists into the fire brigade. China has recently been criticized over its mistreatment of Uyghur Muslims and its handling of pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. Russia had been under fire for allegedly poisoning anti-corruption campaigner Alexei Navalny. Apple has unveiled its iPhone 12 series, its first ever 5G smartphones. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, said on its launch on Tuesday that this is the beginning of a new era for iPhone. Our Choi Min-jung has the details.
Apple has unveiled its very first lineup of 5G iPhones. Apple CEO Tim Cook was proud to introduce the iPhone 12 series, which comes in 4 different models.
The next generation is here. Today is the beginning of a new era for iPhone. Today, we're bringing 5G to iPhone.
With the introduction of 5G technology, users will now have faster access to downloads and uploads, as well as higher quality features such as video streaming, game, and FaceTime. The new 12-megapixel dual camera system has been added, allowing users to shoot wide and ultra-wide photos. The new design also comes with a ceramic shield front cover, which is said to be tougher than any smartphone glass. In addition, similar design cues, including the aluminum frame and flatter edges from iPhones 4 and 5, have been added to the 4 new models. Prices for the iPhone 12 series are identical to the retail price for iPhone 11 at launch. The mini version will be the cheapest, starting at $699. Meanwhile, the Pro Max is set to start at $1,099 with 3 camera lenses. Pre-orders for the iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro will start on Friday in most countries, including the US, Britain, and China. The new iPhone series will be available in South Korea starting Friday, October 30th. Choi Min-dong, Arirang News.
K-pop superstars continue to sweep the Billboard Artist 100 chart. For the first time in the group's career, Blackpink has a US #1 hit, just ahead of BTS at #2. Blackpink rocketed at 64 places to the top spot on the American music chart with the help of their latest album, The Album. It's the first time that a girl group snatched the top spot since the introduction of the Billboard Artist 100 chart in 2014. BTS has maintained top rankings on the chart, reaching #3 last week and #1 2 weeks ago. Short-range autonomous delivery has gotten a lot of attention recently as companies like Walmart, Amazon, and UPS engage in high-profile drone delivery trials. South Korea conducted a drone delivery demo using autonomous robots as contactless delivery is proving to bring significant benefits to vulnerable communities amid this COVID-19 era. Our Peunji reports.
When a customer living on a small island orders products from a convenience store using a mobile app, instead of a delivery person collecting the package, a delivery drone takes off. The drone carrying the package flies across waters off Yeosu at an altitude of up to 80 meters. The drone flies with the package for 900 meters before landing. The package is then moved to a robot that autonomously drives 700 meters to its final destination and delivers the package. It only took about 10 minutes for the customer to safely receive the products. This shows that with self-driving robots, delivery services are possible even in places where it's difficult for drones to land. The Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy partnered with a state-run research institute to demonstrate on Tuesday this new delivery system using a drone and an autonomous robot for the first time in South Korea.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, experts are forecasting a strong growth in the drone industry. We aim to lead the global drone market by boosting development in this field.
The ministry said through drone deliveries that it expects to fully enhance consumer satisfaction and accelerate innovation in the logistics field. It also added that with further development, it will be able to provide more convenience for those living on islands and in mountainous areas. Peunji, Arirang News.
Good morning. The capital region had higher than expected morning temperatures today, while southern regions, including Daegu, saw lows 2 to 7 degrees lower this morning. And highs will be a couple of notches lower this afternoon as well. In fact, Seoul will only get up to the mid-teens at just 16 degrees Celsius. For a closer look, Busan and Gyeongju will get up to 22 degrees Celsius, Chuncheon making it to 17 degrees this afternoon. And morning clouds will be replaced by lots of sunshine. Another big temperature swings are on tap as tomorrow morning could be the chilliest of the season so far for most parts. Frost and even ice could be seen in colder parts of the country. And after tomorrow's brief autumn chill, weather conditions look promising for the capital region under mostly sunny skies with dry air along with temperature fluctuations between lows and highs. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
That's a wrap for us at the hour on Arirang News. We'll be back with more of the day's headlines at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
As the fight against COVID-19 continues, the society is coming down with what could be called